You're okay, ma'am. You're safe now. Can you look at me?
They're still out there.
We'll take care of it. Right now, we just need to get you warm.
Dispatch, victim located. We're heading back to the vehicle.
Easy does it. Lean on me.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
Hi.
Oh, we've got a good one tonight. So I just finished this one, I think last week or the week before. This one is called The Dueling Aeronauts. And it's about a woman, a feud over a woman who was considered the most beautiful woman in Denver. These women, they cause a lot of trouble.
They always do.
Okay.
And more women, so we can say that. Like,
I know. Well,
it's not sexist because we're women.
Terrible. But yeah, she was just anyway, we'll meet her. So it's John and Isabel Springer. And I've seen her name as Isabel and Isabella. So I'm not sure which is correct, but I'm going to go with Isabel. And he was a really wealthy businessman who worked in banking, investments, law, and politics. And so this takes place in Denver. And he was like a multimillionaire. And this was back in the 1800s. So guy really going on. He was really, really good at making money. So he had his eyes set on Isabel as soon as he saw her, and they got married. She was his second wife, and like I said, is claimed to have been the most beautiful woman in Denver. They lived a really glamorous life, and she didn't want for anything. They split their time between downtown Denver and a big ranch that they had. Like the life.
Yeah, that would be the life.
I know. So she was the talk of the town. She was beautiful. She was glamorous. Everybody vied for her attention. She, some women loved her. So a lot of women hated her because she was gorgeous. But she seemed to be really, really nice. So she did have that going for her. And at some point, John introduced her to these two aeronauts. And that was the term that they used back then for pilots, aeronauts, right?
Okay, I was getting ready to ask what the heck aeronauts were.
Aeronaut, yeah. So aeronaut, so aero, aviation, airspace, and all that kind of stuff. So aeronauts. So these guys actually flew hot air balloons. They just did anything and everything involved with the air. And these guys were something else. So there were Frank Henwood and Tom Von Poole. So both men, like I said, were pilots, daredevils, and women loved them, but they both fell instantly for Isabel when they met her. So John had invited them both over to the ranch, and they saw Isabel, and it was like they were just head over heels for her instantly. So I can't imagine having that kind of power over men, or women, over people, Now
we're going to get politically correct.
I don't know, over people, anything. Because imagine somebody that beautiful has that kind of power over women too, usually.
I mean, and hey, I am a firm believer the big P has power.
Yeah. So Henwood would stay with the Springers at their house. And a lot of times in Denver, they would actually stay in these really swanky hotels, and they'd have like the whole top floor kind of thing. That's what they would do. And so Henwood would stay in one of the suites, one of the guest suites. He was considered kind of like one of the family. And he was a really good friend of John's. And John, like I said, he was just so excited to have Isabel meet these guys because he loved them. They were great friends. And it said that Henwood actually even had an adjoining room to Isabel's through a bathroom. So they were connected rooms through a bathroom, which was unheard of. And the town gossips would go crazy over this because, the maids are all chattering and everybody's, yeah. So it was
You would think that Denver was like a small little town at that point.
Well, think about it. Yeah, I mean, it's a city, but it isn't a city. I mean, it's probably the size of Pocatello now, right? So
I was really wondering how big Denver was back then.
I don't know. Anyway, John so this was really scandalous, but John didn't seem to have a problem with it because he considered Henwood like one of the family. And this is back in the day too, where a lot of married couples slept separately. And
They still do that.
They still do that. And I'm telling you, it's not a bad thing, because if like I don't sleep at all, I feel like Batman all the time. I don't sleep. And if I'm around anybody who snores, oh God, I'm so screwed. I'm not sleeping. So I totally get it.
Hey, my parents did it before they got divorced, and I know plenty of other couples that don't sleep together.
Yeah. I mean, I totally get it. I want that whole bed to myself. Well, me. Okay. The two aeronauts began feuding since they're kind of both vying for Isabel's attention. Isabel had known Tom Von Poole since childhood. So she grew up on the East Coast, and Tom did too, in the same, I mean, so they've known each other since childhood. So when they got reintroduced, she's like, oh my God, I know you, that kind of thing. So she was instantly drawn to Tom because she moved away. From what I read, she moved away when she was a child, but had that connection with Tom because they had that same, like, well, we lived in the same town for a while and we went, they were in the same schoolhouse kind of thing. So she's got this romantic thing going on because she knows Tom, or like instantly. She's like, oh, Tom, I know you. And it was really weird to articles written about this thing because she's like, they had parted ways. And it's not like they were lovers or anything, they were children. So when their families moved away, then she gets reintroduced to him. And as they talked, they realized they had that connection. And I was reading a lot of this stuff that Isabel was really lonely because John worked all the time. He was an investment banker, a lawyer. I mean, he was like everything. He was always at work. And so she had to kind of entertain herself. So she found ways to do it.
I love how you put it that way. Like, well, she had to entertain herself.
So Tom actually had moved back, or was back east, and she started writing him letters asking him to come back. Like, please come back to Denver, because she was lonely. Because even though I guess Henwood had this adjoining room, I don't think she was really romantically involved with him. Although I think he had romantic aspirations. I'm not sure she did with Henwood. So Tom was like, she's writing letters to him. And these letters come up later in this story because he starts writing letters back, but he signs the letters as Mabel. So it looks like it's from a woman, a friend of hers, so that she wouldn't get in trouble if John ever saw the letters. So that's sneaky. So that's going to go
back. I'm like, right there is your first mistake.
Yep. And so Henwood is sneaking around in her room one day, and she has a desk, a private, her private desk. And he found these letters that Tom was writing to her, signed Mabel. And I guess he knew from the tone of the letters that it was Tom. And he's like, oh God, and so does he tell John or what? I mean, anyway, he shouldn't have.
But what were you doing snooping around in her room?
I know.
Like, that's wrong.
He actually went to the police to try to get them to get the letters from her without John's knowledge. He said he was trying to save their public reputation. Like, would the police go, please get these letters? Because he said he didn't want John to get them. But I think what he wanted to do was worm his way into Isabel. But that's just going to tick her off. That would me. Be like, get the hell out of here, Anyway, he claims he's trying to protect the Springers from scandal, but the police said, we're not helping you. There's no crime here. What's going on? Get out of here. So,
well, they're technically the crime that you went into her private belongings.
I know. Why didn't they go after him for that? I hadn't thought about that until you said that. So, anyway, like I said, Henwood considered himself a part of the family. He feels really protective, but I think it was more possessive than protective. And he was infuriated that there was all of this attention that she's kind of doting onto Tom. So Tom comes back to Denver. And And it's really weird because Henwood would hang around with Isabel all the time. They'd be seen together. So why is he jealous of Tom? Because it sounds like there might have been love there between her and Tom, but maybe not complete, like more of like a friend right now. It could have been going that romantic way, but he was so like possessive of her. So Tom's moved back, and they're all staying at this called the Brown Palace Hotel, which is, I guess, this real swanky hotel at the time. And this is May. So now this is May 25th, 1910. And they're in the bar. And Henwood confronted Tom over this alleged affair in the bar, in public. I mean, if for somebody who wants to save their reputation, that's kind of a weird thing to do. It's a pretty cheeky move.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tom pulls a gun and he fires twice. One bullet struck a bystander named George Copeland and kills him. The other one struck and killed Tom. So he shoots twice, kills two people. He was immediately arrested for the murders. Okay. So the next year, June 1911, the trial for the murder of George Copeland takes place. So they were going to charge him for both murders, but they were going to do one murder trial and then the next, because Denver's still small and it's hard financially for them to do all these trials. So they put him on trial for the murder of George Copeland. And during the trial, Isabel Springer testified for the defense, for Henwood. But her testimony ended up helping the state and sank Henwood's hopes of ever walking free, because she's, I don't know, it was so weird. I wish they would have, because some of these articles on these old cases, they really go in depth in the detail of it, and they didn't hear. But Isabel took the stand, and I guess the scandalous testimony shook Denver when she admitted the affair with Tom. So at that point, she had become romantic with him. And then she admitted that she had an adjoining room with Henwood. So everybody's going crazy. Like, she's married to John, but there's all these guys. Henwood was adamant that he was simply defending her honor, but the gossip mill in Denver was running amok. So this courtroom is mobbed. It's like the scene. You want to be on it. You want to be seen at court, you know. Anyway, so there was a guy named Tom Lepper, and he was the Springer chauffeur. And he said that he drove Isabel and Henwood in the automobile nearly every day for weeks. He thought Henwood was like extended family. He didn't indicate there was any affair between Isabel and Henwood. Like, it's like, to me, they were like, there's family, like cousins, you know?
Yeah.
All their cousins did back there too, so.
I'm like, well, I don't know if that was a good way to.
I know. So Mr. Henwood ascertained he was only trying, he's like, I was trying to protect the Springers, and he wanted the letters that Tom had written, and he said he wanted to protect John, but then ultimately came out in trial that no, he wanted to give John the letters to show him that his wife was having an affair with Tom. So his protection thing was all baloney. He denied any misconduct towards Isabel, even after testimony from witnesses claimed that they saw them embracing one night. So, man, I'm telling you, some hot stuff.
Yeah.
They did find 20 or so letters in Tom's room after his murder. The letters, so somehow the letters that Tom wrote to Isabel made their way back to Tom, because they were the ones that he had signed as Mabel. And they were addressed to Isabel, and they were in their envelopes. So somehow she might have given them back to Tom and said, look, you keep these, because she was suspecting maybe Henwood or John snooping around. Maybe. On the stand, Isabel admitted that Tom had been writing to her and had signed the letters Mabel so not to rouse suspicion. The prosecuting attorney then brought in a letter written by Isabel to Tom, urging him to come to Denver. So this woman named Cora Carpenter, she was the housekeeper at their ranch, testified about Henwood and Isabel.
Out, get out.
Yeah. She said that
Sorry, Micah.
you're all right. That Hinwood occupied a room that adjoined Mrs. Springer's room through a connected bathroom. Her testimony shook the courtroom as the illicit affair was hinted at between the two. Hinwood was found guilty in the Copeland murder and was sentenced to death. However, the sentence was then reduced to life. On the appeal, the Supreme Court stepped in and ordered a new trial. Then he was tried, convicted, and resentenced to life again. They were trying to locate Isabel for the second trial, but after the first one, she got out of Dodge and actually went to Europe. Okay? She left the country. She was like, I'm out.
Of course.
Hinwood stood before the judge and accused him of prejudice and unfairness. He appealed again on the second trial to the Supreme Court. So he was granted a new trial, a third trial, in February 1912, on the grounds that Judge Whitford erred in refusing to include a manslaughter verdict in his instructions to the jury. Okay, so that's kind of fair because
That's fair. Yeah.
fair. The third trial had multiple issues. One of the original witnesses to the murder of both Copeland and Tom changed his testimony and then was charged with perjury. The judge had to admonish Hinwood's attorneys who fought constantly in court. I guess it was just a real show. Like he had two attorneys representing him and they couldn't agree on anything. And then a former court justice was arrested for witness tampering. Unbelievable, all this stuff was going on. John Springer appeared as a witness for Hinwood, and he thought of Hinwood like a brother and ignored the rumors of an affair between Hinwood and Isabel. He was, however, furious with the affair between Isabel and Tom. Hinwood was found guilty of murder in the first degree and was sentenced to hang. So that's the third trial. Now he's sentenced to hang. Hinwood's appeal on this death sentence failed. However, the governor commuted his sentence to life imprisonment and hard labor. After Hinwood's first trial, so the very first one, John appeared in court in front of another judge and filed for divorce, citing mental cruelty. Isabel's attorney appeared as well and denied all allegations. Mrs. Springer was well on her way to Europe and did not appear. John testified recent articles publicizing his wife's affair and the evidence of the trial had humiliated him, causing him agony of the mind, and he believed the testimony was true. Judge Allen held the testimony by Springer was sufficient to sustain the allegation of the divorce complaint and ordered the decree. Isabel, in the divorce, she had wanted millions. She ended up with $15,000 cash, jewels, and an automobile. That's it. She's lucky to have gotten that.
Yeah. I mean, especially back then.
Yeah. And oddly, Hinwood never stood trial for the murder of Tom. The court cited a statute of limitations due to time because there was 3 cycles of, he went through like 3 cycles of the Supreme Court, the Colorado Supreme Court, on the Copeland murder. And somehow, because there was 3 cycles, he couldn't be then brought to trial for Tom's murder, which I don't understand at all. I can't rationalize that, so I don't know if the laws changed between now and then, because now there is no statute of limitations on murder. They'll come after you in 50 years. They get your DNA.
Yeah. On murder, yeah. There's no statute of limitations on murder.
No. So it's really weird because the way they described it, it had something to do with the court cycles, and because 3 court cycles had gone between the murder and the time that the state wanted to file and bring it to court, the court systems, the court justices said, no, you can't. It's too late. So I don't understand. If anybody knows, let me know, because I don't understand that change.
Maybe that's why they changed it, though.
Maybe people. Tom never got justice. No, there was never any justice for his murder. And I couldn't find anything additional on Hinwood, which kind of leads me to believe that he did his term in prison. That he never popped up anywhere after 1912. Like he's just gone. So I'm assuming he went to prison, did his time, probably died in there.
Probably.
unless John was instrumental in somehow getting him out with his political.
Which I was gonna say, with John having the amount of money that he did, you would think. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
money talks, bullshit
sure does.
walks.
I did then, and it does now. So I don't know.
Yeah.
But I thought that was an interesting case.
I think that one was really interesting. And it's just amazing to me how, like, the more we dive into some of these stories, whether it be the funeral home, situations like this, it's kind of crazy that it's like history just keeps repeating. It's always a woman,
Yeah.
always greed.
Yeah.
And it's usually the male who's the killer.
Yeah. So yeah, I do have more funeral home cases to bring up at some point.
Did you just see that new one back east?
No, I'm gonna have to look that one up.
Oh, I'll have to send you some information. And then we're gonna have to dive into the new murder that just happened here.
Oh, yeah. Once they release who the suspect is.
I know, like they release the names, and it's so sad knowing his siblings. And
yeah,
I've kind of dived into some of it, and yeah,
some more details on that one because that one actually happened last weekend here, and it was a triple homicide, which is unheard of here. So
it's getting crazy.
5 people shot, but 3 people dead, which is those things just don't really happen out here. I mean, we're a small community, so yeah. Anyway,
no, and then to know some of the things behind it, I'm like, oh, you guys, things are getting crazy, so we're always gonna have new stories.
Yeah. Well, thanks guys for watching this one, and sorry if we froze at all during this show, or I don't know what's going on with StreamYard lately, but anyway, thanks everybody, and we'll catch you next week.
Thank you guys. Have a good night.